So my name's Stephen Wilmot. I'm co-founder and technical lead of 3scale Networks. I'm here with Carlos Merida, who's one of the other co-founders. And our mission today is to make you love your API. And not only to love your own API, but to love other people's. So these things are all over the place. You heard Microsoft talk about them this morning. Google has loads of them. Yahoo has loads of them. There are a lot of companies that seem to have APIs and web services on their roadmap, either very proximate or a bit in the future. And this really is something which is changing the way websites are built, but a lot of different applications are built. So you can share data between your company and other people's, and functionality as well. Maybe you feel you need one too, but the problem is they're actually a really big pain to manage. Not only do you have to worry about your existing web infrastructure, your web pages and the content that's there, you also have to worry about maybe new types of user agreements, usage limits, access control, monitoring of what's going on the API. And once you've built it, how are you going to leverage it? How are you going to actually connect with the partners that are using your API and work with them? And worst of all, if you want to charge for what's happening on your API, then how are you going to do that? So a whole bunch of new issues that happen when you have an API, and if you want to leverage it, what are you going to do with it? So our aim is to make this really, really, really easy so that nobody has an excuse not to have an API. What we do is we aim to make it possible for you to focus on your content or the functionality you're delivering to your developer community or to your partners, and let us do the nuts and bolts underneath. And the cool thing is that it's an easy-to-use platform which is self-service. So you can just go right into our website, go there and actually set up your policies and do the monitoring and things that you want to do with very little actual effort. Unfortunately, there's no internet, so we'll actually have to do the demo in a canned form. So I'll let Carlos drive this. Just while he's setting that up, doesn't look so good. While he's setting that up, then the way 3scale works is we have plugins for a whole bunch of languages like Java, PHP, Ruby, and a bunch of others. You can download that. You actually put that on your server where your API is running and it's hosted by you and where your other content is. And once you've set that up, you'll actually be able to use the web-based management interface that you'll be able to see here. So if we log in, well, virtually log in, then we'll actually, I think you went to the last page now.
No.
Okay.
Second one.
Okay, once you're logged in, you'll actually see a control panel where you can list the services that you offer on your system. And when you click down into one of those services, you'll actually get a control panel where you can configure all the information that people are going to see about the service. You can track sign-ups to different types of plans which you've made available. You can track the traffic on the API with a bunch of different metrics that you might want to configure. You can see the users one by one. And here's where the most magic happens. We have a control panel where you can actually set usage limits, pricing rules, and different type of metrics. There you can also put the terms and conditions that you want people to sign up with. And once you've configured that, actually this is a preview of that, the users will actually see a plan with a table with different plans that are available on your API. So we can actually go ahead and look at it from the user's perspective. So there's a directory of services which are already available. We launched 3 weeks ago, so we're really happy to have a whole bunch of providers already live with us. If we click down into one of them, for example, this is information that provider has configured about their service, features as well. And the most important thing is here, those contracts again that provider has actually set. And those limits are applied by our system to the provider's connections, and we can actually sign up for one of those. If you go to the website, you can really do this live, so trust us on that. Once I've signed up and accepted the terms and conditions, what happens? Well, it generates some usage keys for me, and those usage keys I use with the API documentation to actually access the service. And they create the link between me as a user of the service and the provider. And I can actually track a bunch of data of my own on there. I can track my own usage. I can upgrade and downgrade plans, look at code, get support information, and so forth. If we go back to the provider perspective, I can see every single one of my users one by one. I can suspend the contract if they violated their terms and conditions. I can communicate with them. I can communicate with everybody who's live on the service. At the end of the month, we can go one further on. At the end of the month, if you've actually put billing rules on your service, so a lot of services are free, and that's great. We're really happy to have free service as well. But if you put billing rules, because you need to charge for what you're doing, then those get collected automatically based on the traffic that we see on the API. And at the end of the month, we'll actually pass that money on to you. So we're a billing platform as well. So I think that's it for the demo. So just in a nutshell, that's what we launched 3 weeks ago. As we said, we already have a bunch of providers live. We go back to the presentation. Okay. Why are we doing this, and what's the market actually? Does anybody want this? Well, the number of APIs is doubling every month, and that trend is actually accelerating. So now it's really easy if you have many languages to actually put an API connection, a data connection to your service. A lot of people have a lot of value from what they're doing, and the problem is that it's actually high cost to monetize that right now. So what we just launched is the marketplace. That's all for free. You can go and use it. We just charge a usage fee on the system. And we'll have a white label version in Q1 of next year, which you can actually use for a monthly fee and have that all in your own website. These are all the providers that are live, so check them out on the platform. Skip the team a little bit since we're out of time. But basically our mission today is to give you no excuse to have your own API and do that with 3scale. And we're also launching a developer competition. You can see that live on our site with 10K of prizes. We hope to see some great stuff and look forward to seeing you around. And I can see that we're out of time.
Thank you very much. Thank you to 3scale.